Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us at the MarketSite studio in Times Square, New York City, we have Lisa Donahue. She's co-head of Americas and Asia at AlixPartners to discuss why businesses need to be lean and agile in disruptive times. Lisa, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to MarketSite and TradeTalks.
Thank you.
So the AlixPartners 2023 Disruption Index was recently released, and it's focusing on disruption, and it's at all-time highs.
Right.
Give us a high-level overview of what the index is about.
Well, the index showed that more and more global leaders need to be forward-thinking about anticipating disruption and more proactive, less reactive. Don't let the perfect get in the way of progress.
When you say disruption, is it in terms of technology? Is it in terms of what's happening in the economic cycle? What's it referring to?
It's everything. If you think about historically some of the large changes that would happen to businesses, it would be interest rate fluctuations, capital markets, some sort of large macro event. What we're finding and what our survey is showing is that disruptions not only are more frequent, there's more of them. So that means that business leaders have to be more nimble, more agile, more forward-looking, and try to take a look at being the disruptor rather than being disrupted.
Well, you said that there's more instances of disruption now. That's got to be challenging for CEOs when they have a longer-term strategy in place and they have to think tactically to adjust to these disruptions. It has to be a challenge in times like this.
It's a huge challenge. Let's take generative AI by way of example, which is disrupting everybody across the board. And as I'm talking with our CEOs, clients that we're working with, they're thinking about, how is this an opportunity? How can they take that sort of technology and think about it broader, not just something that seems so simple like call centers, but thinking about how to make their businesses and their operating model more fit for purpose, how they can use that information and data to better communicate with their customers, work on their top line. There's lots of ways and healthy, positive ways to think about something that's a disruptive force like generative AI.
Why do businesses need to be lean and agile in terms of disruption?
Well, part of the reason is you don't know what's coming at you. And if you have an ability and you have an organization that can react quickly, because as I say, as much as you want to be proactive, sometimes you must be reactive because you don't know what's coming at you. And if you have an agile organization and you can very quickly respond, and again, look at a positive way or look at what an opportunity could be with some of these disruptive factors, that's all the better for the organization. And lean is just good business.
Right. I mean, look what we learned in COVID-19, how quickly businesses had to pivot. I actually thought that was quite remarkable how successful companies were in doing that.
It showed necessity is the mother of invention, and I can remember as an organization how quickly we at AlixPartners got the technology stood up, got the connectivity stood up, and were able to do operational work with our clients remotely. And some of that was with smart factory, machine learning, and some of our technical digital products, which we had to accelerate in order to be effective while you weren't necessarily on site.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought I'd do my job outside of a studio. And
right.
Now, we're supporting global clients, not just those that are visiting New York or in New York. What could businesses do now to prepare should we get this recession that hasn't happened yet?
Well, the interesting thing, and I get asked this question a lot about the recession that hasn't happened yet, the capital R recession. I think one of the things that we're starting to see is that the consumer is starting to react as if there is a recession, regardless of whether there's a technical recession. So I think a lot of it goes towards some of the same things that you think about when you're about to be disrupted. Agile. Look at your cost structure. Is your business fit for purpose? Do you have the right skill sets around? Do you have non-core businesses that don't make sense for you but could make sense for someone else? And then the flip side is, across, the flip of the coin is an opportunity. Are there non-core businesses that do make sense for you that now, because valuations are dropping a bit, does it make sense to make that acquisition?
Yeah, I mean, especially since companies are sitting on plenty of capital right
exactly.
now as well. So it sounds as if this is, a generational opportunity for some of these companies, considering the way valuations were running, let's say, over the past 10 years when capital was more available.
Right. I think deals are going to be a little more creative because the cost of capital is more. So I think now from an operational perspective, diligence is going to have to be deeper. You're going to have to look once again at, old-fashioned synergistic opportunities when you're doing some of these acquisitions, and you have to be a bit more creative in how you structure these deals because the cost of capital is so much higher.
So are you seeing that with the deals that are taking place, that they're perhaps not as traditional as they may have been in the past, and they're getting, there's different ways they're structured, different solutions in how they're being executed?
We're seeing super creative deals. We are seeing much deeper. We do a lot of work for private equity.
Right.
And when we're doing diligence, we're seeing much deeper diligence. There's a whole technical element to it that was there before, but now, again, since generative AI is on everybody's tongue, people are looking deeper at where are they on their digital journey, what synergies could be gained with the addition of some digital platforms and tools. And yes, we're seeing more creative deal structuring by necessity.
All right, appreciate the insight, Lisa. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.